In the dead of night, a small yacht cuts through Mediterranean waters. On board, climate activist Greta Thunberg and 11 others carrying baby formula and medical supplies. Their destination? Gaza. But Israeli commandos have other plans. What happened next sparked international outrage and reignited one of the world's most contentious debates. This is the story of the Madleen and why it matters to all of us. So here's what went down. On June 9th, 2025, at around 3 a.m., the yacht Madleen was sailing about 100 nautical miles from Gaza's coast when Israeli naval forces surrounded it. The activists on board say drones dropped some kind of white irritant substance on deck. Communications were jammed. Then came the boarding. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition had organized this voyage to challenge Israel's 17-year naval blockade of Gaza. See, since 2007, Israel has controlled what goes in and out of Gaza by sea, saying it's necessary to stop weapons from reaching Hamas. But critics call it collective punishment of over 2 million Palestinians. The Madleen wasn't carrying weapons, though. Its cargo included rice, baby formula, medical supplies, and children's prosthetics. The activists called it a humanitarian mission. Israel called it a publicity stunt. Here's where things get interesting. Among the 12 people detained was Greta Thunberg. Yes, that Greta Thunberg. Also on board was Rima Hassan, a French member of European Parliament. The crew included activists from Brazil, Germany, Spain, Turkey, and an Al Jazeera reporter. This wasn't just any boat. It was carefully assembled to grab world attention. And grab attention it did. But the narratives that emerged couldn't be more different. Israel's version? Defense Minister Israel Katz called it a hate flotilla and propaganda for Hamas. The Foreign Ministry dismissed it as a selfie yacht carrying celebrities seeking Instagram moments. They said the activists were treated well, given sandwiches and water, and would be deported after being shown footage of the October 7th Hamas attacks. The activists' version? They'd been kidnapped in international waters. Pre-recorded videos released after communications were cut show Thunberg saying exactly that. If you see this, we've been intercepted and kidnapped. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition called it piracy and a violation of international law. So who's right? Well, that depends on some complex legal questions. Israel maintains its blockade is legal self-defense. The UN and many legal experts disagree, saying it amounts to collective punishment. The fact that the interception happened in international waters adds another layer. Normally, you can't just board foreign vessels on the high seas. But here's what really matters. This isn't the first time this has happened. Back in 2010, Israeli commandos killed 10 Turkish activists on another flotilla ship, the Mavi Marmara. Since then, there have been multiple attempts to break the blockade, and Israel intercepts them every time. Just a month before the Madleen incident, another activist ship called the Conscience was reportedly attacked by drones. The pattern is clear. Activists try to deliver aid and highlight the blockade. Israel stops them. International condemnation follows, and nothing changes. Meanwhile, the humanitarian situation in Gaza keeps deteriorating. The UN warns of famine. Over 54,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 2023. Aid organizations say the trickle of supplies Israel allows through isn't nearly enough. The Madleen activists knew they probably wouldn't reach Gaza. That wasn't really the point. The point was to force the world to pay attention to a crisis that's been normalized through sheer duration. And in that sense, they succeeded. International reactions poured in. UN experts condemned the seizure. Amnesty International called it illegal. The European Parliament's left group demanded the crew's release. But notably, many major Western governments stayed quiet, or issued carefully worded statements. Israel transferred the Madleen to Ashdod port. The activists will likely be deported soon. The small amount of aid might eventually reach Gaza through Israeli-controlled channels. And then what? The Freedom Flotilla Coalition says they'll sail again. Israel says it'll keep enforcing the blockade. Without major political change, we'll probably see this same story play out again. What do you think? Is challenging a blockade through direct action justified when people are suffering? Or does Israel have the right to control access to territory it says threatens its security? This incident reveals something profound about our world, how competing narratives shape reality, how suffering can become normalized, and how ordinary people sometimes take extraordinary risks to shake us from our complacency. The Madleen's voyage ended in custody, but its message traveled around the world. Gaza remains under siege, and some people refuse to look away. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.